So one thing I read in the POV article was that this was described as both the most personal and the most difficult of your films, and I was wondering if you could expand on both of those descriptors.
I'm not sure about personal, why it's more personal than anything else I've done. Probably because my mother's in it. So that would suggest, that suggests something more to do with myself. But I think all my films are personal, also because I shoot them, and they're really the world seen through me operating a camera. And even if I don't appear in them or if I don't speak in them, you're really seeing my sensibility, and that's a very personal thing. Also in the new film, there's putting my mother in it, and questioning time probably has something to do with an awareness of my own age, my own mortality. I think we all become more aware of that at a certain number. And I guess that could be read as personal as well. What was the other part of the question? Difficult, yeah. No, it's absolutely the most difficult. Because it evolved to be a film about time in some respects, and time is an impossible subject, because time is really just transformation, and everything we look at any given moment is an image of time. So you're at a point where wherever you point the camera, that's what your film's about. And in parallel, I mean, I guess the film does this too. It questions if time is just a concept. And if you were really going to make a film that tried to cover that subject properly, you'd have to make a series, and you'd have to have many different points of view and different kinds of articulations about ideas of time, and I didn't want to do that. So it also means you can't say too much, because if you say one thing, you have to say all the other things too. So perhaps also that's something that made it become more subjective or more personal, and more about perception and seeing through the idea of time. So it's about the perception of time as experienced using film.
And the DJ even comments that thinking about time is just a very difficult process in general too.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it was difficult likewise to film it. And something that occurred to me is that one of the defining features of film, or I guess you could say now television, or any, we don't call them moving images, I guess, anymore, pixels, but is that they have duration, right, versus other art.
Yeah.
How did you approach filming time?
Well, I think, I've been working with film and it's amazing how, this segue, how much the word time comes up in conversation. It's just, in so many contexts you use that word. So I was going to say, I've been making films for a long time. And in the process of making films, I was aware that it was a kind of time machine, but it never kind of became as profound or dramatic as it has in this film, where it was like, oh yes, it really is, as Tarkovsky says, sculpting in time, and it really is a paradox of time, and it as a media, as a reflection of technology in our today's life, it takes us away from being in the present. I mean, it's really this grand paradox that technology has given us to look at the past and project into the future. I mean, if I shoot with a camera, I feel like I'm in the moment, and when I'm in that flow, it feels really good. It's one of my favorite experiences. It's almost like a high to be at one with the camera as things unfold, catching them. But as soon as it's finished, it's a thing that belongs to the past, and it's baggage, and it's this thing that I'm trying to use to put into an experience for you, the audience, in the future. And my whole relationship to the present has been completely, set askew through making film. So the simple answer to your question is I just became much more aware of the paradoxes implied by using film.